My name is Claire Cunningham and I'm the UX designer and researcher on the Building City Dashboards project. I've designed with some software engineers 3D planning tools that work across virtual reality, augmented reality and 3D desktop and WebGL. So the first 3D planning tool is for virtual reality. It works cross-platform for the Vive and also for the Oculus Rift at the moment. And we're using effectively Dublin city centre as the main focus area. And inside of that, we have different planning tools that came out of conversations, research, surveys, interviews that we had with planning officials. So I'm standing inside the 3D model here. I've got Tara Street Station behind me. I'm on the south side looking over to the north side, got the SIP2 building, and I have my tools panel. So I'm going to go into building tools, and inside here you can have different scenarios, different developments essentially. So the first one here is a kind of a low development. It's a similar height buildings to what's already existing. Or I could change that and I can bring to mid-height, or you can go to high rises. So this is another scenario we have. So these are obviously drastically different to what's in the landscape already, and an example of how you can trial different developments inside of the model. So if I go over, what the beauty is of having it in virtual reality is that I can go right up to the building and really see the effect of it. I can run a shadow analysis not only on the buildings that we already have in the model, but on these procedurally generated buildings as well. So I've got a slider here for the 24 hours of the day, and I can pull that across and see as the day goes on how that shadow affects the neighbouring area. Now I'm going to go to another part of the city and go through some of the other tools here. So I'm walking along the quays on the south side now, and I'm just at O'Connell Bridge. With my simulations panel out, I can try some of the other tools. So we also have flood resilience. If I get with this slider here and then just pull it all the way up to 4 meters, I'm completely submerged now. As expected really, I'm on top of the Liffey. Just like before, I can run a shadow analysis just on the existing environment here. So I can see the new development over there, and I can also see the sun move above me, and I can see what it's like, the shadows on Dublin city centre as it is. Okay, so this is the desktop application of the city planning tool. So if we zoom in here, we can get closer here into the city, and we're looking out over O'Connell Street here, and we have the spire up the top. So if we want to start using some of the tools, we have the building tools here. So we have a procedural model, which can be seen over here. It's just been added in. You could change the foundation polygons to change the shape. So I'm going to leave it to a fairly typical building here and add some floors, which can be adjusted. So it's got 12 floors there. It's a lot higher than all the other buildings, or you could bring it back down to be in keeping with the surrounding area. You can also change the roof type. So there it is. It's got peaked or flat roof. So I'll leave that there, and I can also go through and import a model from that that's maybe given to you that you have on your desktop as a anything here. You can just add straight in, and it'll be dropped into your project. You can also rotate, transform, or scale. So there's 3 other tools we have here, which is shadow analysis, flood resilience, and visibility analysis. So visibility analysis, we have a person who's roaming through the city, and these pink lines here show the obstructed view and the actual view of what you could see at any point. So this would be important for, say, a building that's being dropped into maybe quite a sparse area, and you could see how it then affects across the city. We also have a database here of planning history, development land use, environmental, property prices, census data, and service data. So if we click into architectural heritage, So here, if you click any one of these, you can actually pull up the database that's corresponding to it. And then you can also go into national monuments, and that gives sort of a similar breakdown on each of these landmarks. So it tells you where the location is, what class it is, its official entity ID. And then there's also development land use. So these are different shape layers that are applied onto the model. So here you've got your monumental structure of Dublin North City, for example. And I could click into an area here. Let's see, over here on the more west side, you've got M2, it's a zone Z5, which is city centre, and its zone description is to consolidate and facilitate the development of the central area. This next one, environmental, is the DCC noise. So it's in a heat map form over the city, and you can see what areas have a heightened noise level and what areas have a lower noise level. We also have the property price register, and if you click on any one of these, you'll get individual information about that. So I'm going to click on this one over here, and it is Abbey Court. It's a second-hand dwelling house. You have the date of sale and the price, so $225 in 2016. This is the WebGL build of the city planning app. So the desktop application is similar to this, except this is just a little bit lower res quality, so they can be based online. So you can access this through our dashboard website, but it has the exact same functionality. So for someone who doesn't have the desktop application, or for something that can be shared with the public, they can access this without any specialist equipment. And they can go through all the simulations that we had before, so the visibility analysis, shadow analysis, flood resilience, and you can add and take away elements as well, and also go through all the data. We have an augmented reality 3D planning tool, which is built for the HoloLens. So this is built, again, for city planning, but we're looking at bird's eye view, and we can pull data layers into it, which is a really important factor. And then you can also bring in simulations, shadow analysis, flood resilience, and see all of these tools, but over the whole city in one go. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the building tools, simulations, and data, and how they're applied to this model. So I'm going to go to flood resilience here, and I'm going to pull this across, and you'll see how that flood level from 0 to 4 meters will affect the city centre and different areas more severely than some others. There's also another aspect of the HoloLens project, which is to feed the data in. You can see here I've clicked on data and I've got planning permissions, and it gives you the same information like Dublin North City, the class, key, and the entity ID, and then they populate the city centre itself down there. And then I can go to the planning history, and I can see how architectural heritage sites are shown up, how landmarks show up across the city. So then these are highlighted then, and they'll give you specific information about it. So we can also see shape layers in the HoloLens projects. So this is development land use. So you can see property price registers and different landmarks placed onto it. So any of these database categories that we had in the other projects, you can actually see dynamically in the HoloLens as well.